وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد طب القلوب ودوائها
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Shukran. Can we begin?
Yes.
Prof. Shukran.
Yes. Alhamdulillah.
InsyaAllah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Professor Dr. Shukran Abdul Rahman, Dean Kuliah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, KIRKHS, Professor Dr. Akmal Khuzairy Abdul Rahman, Director of Center for Islamization, CENTRIS, Associate Professor Dr. Sina Ibrahim, Deputy Dean of Postgraduate and Responsible Research, KIRKHS, Associate Professor Datin Dr. Aini Mazina Abdul Manaf, Deputy Dean of Academic and Internationalization, KIRKHS, Dr. Muhammad Noor Abdul Jalil, Deputy Dean of Student Development and Community Engagement, KIRKHS, Madam Haslina Shamsuddin, Senior Deputy Director of KIRKHS, heads of department, academics, staff, brothers and sisters. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Welcome to the KIRKHS Spiritual Enhancement, Recitation of Surah Yaasin and Short Tazkirah. My name is Nur Iskandar bin Mazlan, Assistant Director at the Office of Deputy Dean, Student Development and Community Engagement, and also your Master of Ceremony for this session. Inshallah, we begin our session with Ummul Kitab Al-Fatiha. Praise be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. After performing a Maghrib prayer, we have this opportunity to meet virtually once again in this special session to recite Surah Yaasin. We hope and pray that Allah will protect us from the danger of COVID-19 and shower His mercy and blessing upon us. Next week also will be Merdeka Day, our Independence Day for our country. May our country be freed from any challenge and danger, inshallah. We'll also be going to make dua for our brothers and sisters who are currently fighting COVID-19, as well as for the ruh of our brothers and sisters, staff, students, alumni, and all Muslims who have passed away. Besides, let us also pray for the well-being of a father of Arabic student who is currently put under induced coma due to COVID-19. The student's name is Nur Fadilah Nur Azam. Without further delay, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Shukran Abdul Rahman, the respected Dean of KIRKHS, to deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin. Amma ba'd. Thank you, Brother Iskandar, Deputy Deans, Head of Departments, academic members. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of our ex-rector, Professor Datuk Sri Syed Arabi Aidit. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, Datuk, for being with us. It means a lot to all of us with your presence. Professor Dr. Akmal Khuzairy, thank you very much. Welcome again to this spiritual enhancement session. We are very lucky, fortunate, and thankful to you, Professor Akmal, for your readiness, your willingness to lead the Yaasin recitation and dua, and also a short tazkirah tonight. Like Brother Iskandar mentioned just now, we are here to offer supplication, to make dua that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will protect us. He will grant shifa to all our brothers and sisters who are now fighting this disease. And we would like to especially put the intention that Allah grant shifa to our brother Samsul Paris, our officer in the Office of Deputy Dean, Academic and Internationalization, and his family. And also to Brother Dr. Hiziman, who is recovering. Inshallah, we wish that Allah grant him full recovery, right? And to the demise of our brothers and sisters who have left us because of COVID or because of other reasons as well. Today's statistics is more worrying. Okay, it has gone up to 24,000, and death record is about 400 today, right? So Allah Allahumma ghafir lahum warhamhum, and inshallah we will stay istiqamah with this Tazkirah, with this spiritual enhancement. And I'm very pleased that we can continue doing this every week now, in addition to other spiritual enhancement activity. For your information, every 2 days, deanery of KIRKHS meet every morning. We'll meet in the morning for our Hadith al-Sabah for 30 minutes or more, for us to be reminded as well on how important spirituality is in delivering our work. And this afternoon, we attended as an usrah in the Department of Feeds. So I would like to encourage all departments to do such activities as well, okay, in this scenario, and inshallah we will be steadfast even after this pandemic is over. So thank you very much to all of you who are participating, and we make dua that Allah will grant or will answer whatever we ask from Him, inshallah. Ameen. So over to you, Brother Iskandar. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Shukran, for the speech. Distinguished audience, brothers and sisters, last week we have listened the story and reminder which are related to Ashura Day from Dr. Khuzairy. Today we are fortunate because Professor Dr. Akmal Khuzairy Abdul Rahman, the Director of CENTRIS, is here to give a Tazkirah and lead the recitation of Surah Yaasin and Dua. Now, I would like to invite Prof. Akmal to proceed with the recitation and Tazkirah. Please welcome, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Brother Iskandar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Just a briefing before we recite and begin reading Surah Yaasin, that the general intention is to hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever that we are reading, the rewards of our recitation will also be shared by those whom we intend, inshallah, in this recitation and afterwards the Yaasin, that our prayers for them will be granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each of us might have your own loved ones that you want to dedicate the recitation to, and you can do so. But generally, we are here for our colleagues and also for those who are still battling COVID or some other diseases, and hopefully with this small effort, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us our request so that they might be relieved from the diseases and the calamities that they're going through. So we're going to recite Fatiha, Yaasin, and Tahleel, and afterwards, inshallah, a small reminder or Tazkirah we'll share together, bi'izni ta'ala. الفاتحة وياسين إلى أرواح والدينا والديكم وإلى أرواح المسلمين والمسلمات كافة عامة وإلى حضرة النبي المصطفى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وأصحابه الكرام لهم الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون وإلهكم إله واحد لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا يا أرحم الراحمين ارحمنا ورحمة الله وبركاته عليكم أهل البيت إنه حميد مجيد إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل أفضل صلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك حبيب الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك الغافلون اللهم صل أفضل الصلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك شمس الضحى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك الغافلون اللهم صل أفضل صلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك بدر الدجى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكرك الغافلون وسلم رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن ساداتنا أصحاب رسول الله أجمعين وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أستغفر الله العظيم أستغفر الله العظيم أستغفر الله العظيم أفضل الذكر فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله 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 إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إله إلا الله لا 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 إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله كلمة علينا نموت وعليها نبعث إن شاء الله من الآمنين يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اجعلنا يا مولانا لآلائك ذاكرين ولنعمائك شاكرين وعلى قضائك وبلائك من الصابرين ومن الحلال مرزوقين وعن الحرام معصومين وفي الجنان مناعمين وإلى وجهك وجه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يا رب ناظرين ومتمتعين. ردنا اللهم إليك مردا جميلا لا تجعل اللهم علينا وعلى سائر إخواننا في سائر الحالات خصوصا عند الممات ولا قبله ولا بعده كيدا ولا سبيلا. اثبتنا اللهم على قراءتنا هذه وما أضيف إليها ثوابا جزيلا وتقبلها منا قبولا حسنا دائما جزيلا. اجعل اللهم الثواب ما قرأناه وبركة ما تلوناه وهللناه زيادة في شرف الأعظم صلى الله عليه وسلم وآته الوسيلة والشرف والدرجة العالية الرفيعة وابعثه المقام المحمود الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد واسقنا بيده الشريفة شربة هنيئة مريئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا يا رب العالمين. ثم في الصحائف آبائه وإخوانه من الأنبياء المرسلين صلوات الله عليه وعليهم أجمعين وعلى آل كل وقرابة كل والتابعين وتابع التابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ثم في الصحائف من اجتمعنا هنا بسببهم وتلي القرآن العظيم من أجلهم. أنت أعلم بأسمائهم وأنت غني عن عذابهم. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وأكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم ونقهم من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. اللهم انقلهم من ضيق القبر واللحود إلى جنتك جنات الخلود إلى ظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفرش مرفوعة مع الشهداء والأنبياء والمرسلين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من جهد البلاء ودرك الشقاء وسوء القضاء وشماتة الأعداء. O Allah, we seek refuge with you from severe calamity and from misery to fall upon us, and from a bad fate and from the gloating of our enemies. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan wa na'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasal wa na'udhu bika min al-jubni wal-bukhli wa na'udhu bika min ghalabati ad-dayni wa qahri ar-rijal. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from grief and sadness, from weakness and from laziness, from miserliness and from cowardice, from being overcome by death and overpowered by men. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyata fi dunya wal-akhirah. O Allah, we seek your forgiveness and well-being in this world and the hereafter. Allahumma ihfazna min bayni aydina wa min khalfina وعن يميننا وعن شمالنا ومن فوقنا ونعوذ بعظمتك أن لا نغتل من تحتنا. O Allah, protect us from our front, from behind us, from our right and from our left, and from above us, and we seek refuge in your magnificence from being taken unaware from beneath us. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-barasi wal-jununi wal-judhami wa min sayyi'il asqam. O Allah, we seek refuge in you from leprosy, madness, and evil diseases. Allahumma rabbin nas adhhib al-ba'sa 'anna washfina anta ash-shafi la shifaa illa shifaa'uk shifaan la yughadiru saqaman. O Allah, Lord of mankind, do away with our suffering. Heal us as you are the only healer. and there is no cure except that of yours. It is that which leaves no ailment behind. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. O Lord, forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in faith, and do not put in our hearts any rancor towards those who believe. O Lord, indeed you are full of kindness, most merciful. اللهم لا تدع لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا عدوا إلا كفيته ولا غائبا إلا رددته ولا عاصيا إلا عصمته ولا فاسدا إلا أصلحته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا عسيرا إلا يسرته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا أعنتنا على قضائها في يسر منك يا أرحم الراحمين. O Allah, leave not for us a sin which you have not forgiven, nor a shortcoming which you have not concealed, nor a worry which you have not removed, nor a debt which you have not paid, nor a need from among the needs of this world or the hereafter, the fulfillment of which is beneficial for us and pleasing to you, which you have not fulfilled. O most merciful of all, show us your mercy. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. قبل الله منكم. 8:42. Bismillah. Okay, inshallah, we are going to share some short tazkirah. Tazkirah, I don't think that we have a special topic in this one, but since we have been discussing of late about lots of problems, mental health issues, related mental health issues, even we have on the university level now a task force overseeing what would be the procedures and processes, SOPs, policies, and what have you, to manage this problem. And during one survey indicated to us that the matter is pretty serious. We have been observing some cases, serious cases reported to us. But then again, I'm now wearing the head of the director of CENTRIS. We have been requested to come up with a guideline. So as lecturers, for an example, we haven't had until now a reference. So if students ask us about what would be our approach and advice, if we want to talk to them about mental health, how to manage stress, for an example, we have abundant references indeed, yes. But then again, we need to put that into a systematic literature so that it can be referred to by our staff. Okay? And one of those elements, upon discussing with some of our colleagues how to come up with such a guideline, is that the reference to Surah Al-Inshirah. This is very good for us colleagues if we want to take advantage of this particular short surah. Why so? Because in this surah, I will share with you some of the insights that would help us, at the very least, that we can at least share this one with the students and transform the negative thinking that they have. Okay? Normally, why so? Because mental illness somehow it comes from negative feeling, the way that they're looking, what is around them, the way that they're looking at themselves. So this, if can be changed, inshallah, we'll put them on the right track back. And so one of the advice from our colleagues is to make Surah Al-Inshirah as a reference. And indeed, I have tried to dig up in the internet and came up with a couple of articles written about how the meaning of Surah Al-Inshirah, Alam Nashrah Laka Sadrak, until the end, can be beneficial in giving us lecturers some sort of an insight how to share some tips with our students. So let's have a look at what does do the verses mean. Surah Al-Inshirah. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Have we not uplifted your heart for you, right? So one of the ta'wil of this particular verse, and the first one, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. So this particular surah, it was revealed when the Prophet himself was in Mecca, and during very, very hard trials and tribulations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put our Prophet in. And this particular juncture, some historians reported that the Prophet was going through boycott by the Quraysh. The Quraysh was boycotting against the Bani Hashim, to the extent that it was narrated in some stories that many of the family members of the Prophet, they have no other choice except to eat green leaves for months, because they cannot get any food except if they are smuggled in by those who sympathize with them. If not, then food was very scarce and they would eat anything that they would find. So this is the context of which this particular surah was revealed to the Prophet. And then again, it is also after, some of Fasirun say that it was revealed after the event of Isra wal Mi'raj. So this Alam Nashrah Laka Sadrak is the question that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed to the Prophet to ask him, haven't we uplifted your heart for you? Meaning to say that we know that you are in such and such a situation, but then again, we have given you something that we have never given you to any man before. That is the privilege to be near to God through the journey of Isra and Mi'raj. Now, the ibrah or the teaching that we can conclude from this first verse is that broaden or focus on something else, meaning to say, count your blessings. We focus on our problem and then we seem not to be able to get out of that problem. But if we focus on something else and we feel thankful of what blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, not only that particular problem, but with that problem, there are also other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. So this particular verse, some ulama say that it is for us to broaden our focus on something else. It is for us to broaden ourselves on something else, not to only focus on something which is small in scope. It is a problem, yes, no one can deny that. But at the same time, there are also other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as his servant. So that is why we can always couple this one with some other hadiths, my dearest colleagues. For an example, there is many hadiths related to this one. Count your blessings. In one hadith was mentioned, ni'matan magbunun fihima kathirun minan nas as-sihhat wal farah. This is narrated in Bukhari. There are two blessings that many people are deceived into losing. What are these two blessings? One is health, and second, free time. So there are lots of other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with, but then again, when our mind is only focusing on one simple trial and tribulation, so it is not going to we are not going anywhere if we are just focusing on this one. In another hadith, dearest colleagues, the Prophet mentioned, "Man asbaha minkum mu'afan fi jasadi, aminan fi sirbi, indahu qutu yawmihi faka'annama hizat lahu dunya." Who amongst you wakes up? I mean, these are simple things that we always forget. We wake up in the morning, and who amongst you who wakes up in the morning and his body is healthy? We have this one. I mean, we wake up in the morning and we are not sick, all right? And he is safe in his bed, meaning to say that we are living in a country where still, although that we are going through many crises here and there, but the overall situation in our country is not like that in, let's say, Syria. It's not like that in Yemen, for an example. It's not like that in parts of Palestine. So if we feel that every day we can wake up and open our window and smell, the air, because of what? Because of the beautiful surrounding that we have, because of the beautiful environment that we have, because there is no war, people are not shooting at one another. So this is another thing. This is another ni'mah. Aminan fi sirbihi. And the third one is عنده قوت يومه فكأنما حيزت له الدنيا. And the third one is that you don't have to be worried about whether or not that you have food for that particular day, right? So many of us, we are not thinking about whether we have food or not. So we are thinking about what we are going to eat for that particular day. So these are the three basic blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet reminded us with, that we wake up in the morning and then we find ourselves healthy. And our place, we are sleeping, we are at the place where there is no war, people are not killing one another, and then we are not thinking about what to get for our food for that day. We are thinking about what to eat, but we don't think about whether the food is there or not. So these are the three things which the Prophet reminded us with, that if we are thankful about it, so we would feel that we are really blessed. So what is only, small problems here and there if we compare to these blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. And again, one of the remedy for us, if you can tell our students about how to overcome this stress, is to look for those who are lower level than us. In the hadith was mentioned, انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم ولا تنظروا إلى من هو فوقكم. Was mentioned that the Prophet said, look at those who stand at a lower level than you, but don't look at those who stand at higher level than you. For this would make the favors conferred upon you by Allah insignificant. Whenever that we are going to compare ourselves with those who are higher than us in terms of his worldly affairs, right? So that particular instance will be, of course, secondary to them, and that wouldn't help at all. So the Prophet gave us a very great tips that is for us, in order for us to be thankful, we must look at those who are less fortunate than us. So this is about the first ayah, dearest colleagues, is about to broaden the focus. The Prophet was going to all these problems, but at the same time, he was given something that not any other man was given this privilege. That is to go to Isra Mi'raj, he would see something out of this world. I mean, literally. So this is the first one. Second is وَرَفَعْنَا وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. We relieve you the burden which weighted so heavily on your back. Now, this second and third verses, it taught us to leave the burden and don't hold to it long. We need to say that if we have the problem, we need to get rid of the problem. We need to get rid of the problem in our mind, in our thoughts, so that we can move on. Problem is there. It will not leave us. Even if it leaves us, then another problem will come afterwards. So the only way for us to keep on moving is we do not hold long to that particular problem. I think that many of us have already heard about the story of professor asking his students to hold a glass of water, of which it is really light. But if you are requested to hold it for hours, something which is very light can become very, very heavy. So that is the problem itself. If we leave it, then inshallah we can move along. So the second and third verses of Surah Inshirah is about for us to keep on moving, leave the burden, do not get tied to it. Move on in life. And the fourth verse, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ, haven't we elevated your name, reputation for you? So this verse is about self-confidence and hope, meaning to say that it is Allah who actually gave us in the first place all these trials. Many of us, whenever that we raise our hands making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take from us all these diseases, all these problems that we are facing. Sometimes we did forget the fact that it was Allah himself in the very first place that gave us this trial. So in order for us, in order for our prayer to be answered, we must first acknowledge the fact that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who first put us in that particular situation. See? So because why? Because there are many verses talking about that one, right? So the iman is something which must be balanced between the two. It is not something that whenever that we are blessed, then we raise our hands and be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do umrah, we do hajj, we make sadaqah. Why so? Because we want these blessings to continue. No. We must also have the faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also would give us trials and tribulation. That is this verse, Surah Al-Hajj, verse 11, my dearest colleagues. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ مَعَ النَّبِيِّ وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك هو الخسران المبين. The translation is, there are among men, I mean among us, some who serve Allah as it were on the verge, meaning to say at a cliff. Why? Because if good befalls them, if everything is good, so he said, oh subhanallah, this is from Allah, this is ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are therewith well content. Okay, they say, oh subhanallah, this is from God, you know. But if a trial comes to them, so if the situation is the way around, they turn on their faces, they lose both this world and hereafter. The sabab al-nuzul, the reason for revelation, this particular verse was mentioned in some of the tafsir. It's about some Bedouins who became Muslims, and when they became Muslim, they moved to Medina, and initially they felt healthier, wealthier, and they were even blessed with newborn sons. But some of the Bedouin who moved to Medina, they didn't have the same fate. They became poorer, they lost everything, see? So they were blaming this on the religion, Islam. Say, what is this religion of Muhammad? Since I converted as a Muslim, I did not go through a single thing that made me happy. Everything was taken away from me. So Iman, brothers and sisters, we must tell our students, Iman is about having faith in both. Not only that when you are blessed, but when you are also in trials. So this must be understood. Whenever that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us trials, it is also trials that come from Him. Never forget that. And when we raise our hands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He would take away all these trials and problems, we must first be confident and believe the fact that those things initially, they are coming, they come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not something which is separated. So we must be content and balance in both situations. Have hope, have confidence that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is going to be temporary. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in many places about that Allah will test us. وَكُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. That we will test you by evil and by good, both. I mean, not only that we are tested by evil things, but also by good things. Okay, this is by way of trials. So we must understand this. I think it is very important for us to make our students also understand the fact that that fitna, trials, tribulations are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the one who will get rid of it, right? And we must be patient going through it. Why so? Because it is going to be temporary. Why? Because this is explained in the subsequent verse. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Surely with hardship comes ease. Okay. So this reiterated, emphasized the point that everything is temporary. Allah's blessings are abundant. And this, the number 5, فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ. When you have finished, then stand up. This is again another tip that we should be reminding our student with, the fact that solve problem one by one. When you have finished, stand up, meaning to say that this is the literal meaning of the verse. But then again, the implicit meaning of the verse, solve problem one by one. We must teach our students to solve problem, approach problems one by one. Do not accumulate all the problems and try to solve them at once. That is wrong. You think about A, B, C, D until Z, and you try to solve them together. At the end of the day, they ended up not doing anything at all. So that'll be the problem. I mean, they keep thinking about all those problems. At the end of the day, they are not acting upon it at all. They are not trying to solve it at all. So that's the problem. So try to at least remind them, if you have problem, فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ, solve the problem one by one. Okay, you take it one by one, and then again you try to move on. Right? وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ, and to your Lord turn. Be positive. That is this one is what we mentioned before, that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one who gives us this in the first place, and He is the one who will cure it later on. So this is the concept of tawakkul. So these are the values, the ethics that we need to make our students understand, dearest colleagues, if possible, in our interaction with them. The fact that we must be patient, the fact that we must have confidence and hope, the fact that we know that trials come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they are temporary, the fact that we need to do ikhtiyar, we need to put in the effort, solve problem. Okay, we don't just mumble about the problem, but we must take action how to actually solve them. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ, and have faith. Have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for He will be the one granting whatever efforts that you are putting on. So these are the things that we need to, the very least, the Surah in Shirah, brothers and sisters, would be the basic information, the basic tips that we can share with our students when it comes to stress management. Tries to give them the deeper meaning of this particular surah, a very short one indeed. And I do really have a lot of things to discuss, but then again, because of time constraint, I think that we should be having some other, perhaps, lecture in that one, if we can invite the people who are really competent in this particular topic, inshallah. So I think that's about it. We have already, beyond the time given to us. Thank you very much. We hope that whatever that we have shared will be practiced. And then again, because we don't know this situation that we are facing when it is going to end. And we keep on getting problems and complaints from students. And they are really looking for some tips, some advice from us. If you can just focus on this particular short surah and try to make them understand what is actually the ibrah and teachings behind the verses. And inshallah, the very least that we can change their attitude from negative to positive, hopefully, inshallah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. Thank you, Prof. Shukran, and our ex-rector, Dr. Arabi, is with us as well, and dearest colleagues. Inshallah, we'll meet again on some other occasions. Aqulu qawli hadha, wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Akmal, for the recitation as well as the knowledge and reminder that have been shared with us, especially regarding mental health issues. May Allah bless all of us for this initiative and protect us from any diseases. And now this session has come to its end. We truly appreciate your participation in this special prayer, and please apologize us for any shortcomings throughout the session. With that, we end the session with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-Asr. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and stay safe.
Thank you, Iskandar. Thank you, Prof. Akmal.
Thank you, Prof. Assalamualaikum, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Is.
Thank you, Dr. Sri. Thank
you
you,
very
Prof.
much,
Dr.
Brother.
Brothers and sisters.
Dr. Akmal, Dr. Saya. Thank you, Prof. Akmal.